How's it going, everybody? Back for another Sunday night live stream. Hopefully, I'm not too late, a couple minutes late, but sometimes when that happens, I seem to lose everybody. But we do have a football game on tonight, too, I believe. So, turn that on as well. How's everybody's day going? Hopefully, it's going well. I'm trying to pull up the football game here. Is it the Steelers tonight? Do they play tonight? Hopefully. It'll make our conversation a little more interesting. Vikings won today, so that's good. I guess I'm not like a huge football person anymore, but I didn't have cable for probably, I don't know, 8 years or so. So I never was able to watch any football games, so it's kind of cool to be able to watch. And the Patriots are already winning 7-0. Brady going to the end zone. Man, Pittsburgh is down already. The Patriots are driving, so those of you that care. Those of you that don't, totally want to talk about everything else as well, or anything else. Had a great day at church today. Just had a great weekend overall. Abby started playing soccer this year, so I got to go and watch her play yesterday, which was super fun. And then my wife was out at a bridal shower yesterday, so I got to spend the day with the kiddos, which was very fun as well. So I don't know, I just had a great day. And then church, we had a great day today too. Had a full house today at church, which we haven't had in a while. Honestly, we had a kind of a lull in attendance over the summer, but evidently everyone is planning to come back for the fall. So that's really exciting for us. And yeah, it was just a good day overall. Really, really enjoyed it. But anyway, how was your weekend? Let me know. I got to pull up my live stream now too. See who is here. Also have a podcast coming out tomorrow on the coffee shop that I went to in Altoona. A really good conversation with Sarah from the Clay Cup, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that podcast, and we can kind of dream about what kind of businesses we want to see in Kittanning in the near future, and then also starting this week, beginning a series of videos on addiction. So hopefully over the next few months, I'll be doing several interviews with different people that are in addiction treatment and drug enforcement, I guess it would be the terminology for it. I'm going to try to get a representative from the police department, hopefully someone from the county as well. And then I would also like to interview people on the recovery side, including the ones that are trying to purchase the Church of God down the street from our church. I know that's been a really big controversy in town right now. I don't know. I don't have any super strong opinions on it one way or another. But I do want us as a town, and well, as a church especially, and as a town in total, focus more on reaching people that are in need of help in as far as recovering from opioid addiction, and really any kind of addiction, whether it's alcohol or pornography or anything that you could possibly be addicted to that would be detrimental to your everyday life. That's what I think we need to be focused on. So the very first video of that, I was editing it this afternoon, and it will be out on Tuesday morning, and tomorrow will be the podcast. I have another video still in the hopper. I've just been editing, trying to desperately to catch up. But I should be caught up by the middle of the week, and I'll be back on kind of like a normal uploading schedule. So very excited about that as well. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, 10 of you in the house tonight so far. Better turn off my sound. Okay. Caden's here, was number first. Connie was second. Good to have you, Summer. The almighty Krat is in the house. Caden is here. Yeet, you the best. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I'm so confused. Like I'm trying to stay up to date on people's or like teenage lingo. Like as you get older, I'm probably like officially old to most teenagers at this point. As you get older, you get out of touch with the slang terminology. But I don't know if Krista's in the house tonight. No, haven't seen her yet. But Krista talks to me in teenage speak, so that's pretty cool. And but the one word I still don't understand is yeet. I can't quite figure it out. Like I've seen different definitions of like just being excited is like yeet, and then I've seen definitions where like it's throwing things is like yeet. What's the actual definition, or is it just like a word that's like a catch-all, like a modern cuss word of some kind? I'm not sure. So if you can define yeet for me, I would appreciate it. It would be helpful to me. Melissa's in the house. Good to have you, Melissa. Uh, Melissa's here, but no Krista. That's surprising. Normally you guys come in pairs. Still hashtag hungry. Wow. Impressive. Big Dog's in the house. Good to have you. Steelers and Patriots are playing. Yes, Patriots just got another field goal. It is 10-0. Patriots. The defending Super Bowl champion Patriots, by the way, who are going for their 7th title, which would surpass the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you think that's going to happen this year? Todd's in the house. Good to have you, Todd. Todd, we still got to get together, don't we? Pretty soon. Let's see. Kevin says, did you see Connie's garden haul? That garden has done amazing. Yes, I did see it. I guess I should ask first. Connie, do I have permission to show your garden haul on the YouTube live? If I do, I'll pull up a picture and I'll show you guys. But I don't want to just show somebody's Facebook without permission. So, let's see here. There we go. Sorry, I was just pulling that up. Steelers, woo. Yeah. Lots of Steeler fans in the house, I'm sure. Maybe you could answer as well. Who's your football team? My football team is the Vikings. They were up 28-0. They ended up winning 28-12 today. They gave up a couple garbage time scores at the end, but overall, Vikings looking pretty good today. That's pretty awesome. Can't believe it's football season again, says Swan. I know. This summer, even I have a 6-year-old daughter tonight. She said, Dad, summer went way faster this year than it did last year. And I was like, kid, you have no idea. It gets faster as you get older. And I know all of you are saying, Andy, you have no idea. It gets faster as you get older. So that was my explanation to her. She said, why did summer go so fast this year? I said, well, it just goes faster as you get older. So it's actually the same time every year, but it just gets faster as you get older. Let's see here. Todd wants a bubble hockey store. No surprise there. Kevin was the first to like. Roger was the second. And now we have 5 likes with 14 people in here. 9 of you have completely disregarded your duty here tonight. One of them is actually me, so I'm going to go ahead and I liked it. So now we have 6. 8 of you have neglected your duty. Amber needs a lot of prayer right now. Bear with me here. I rushed her to the hospital Friday night. Her blood pressure was really high, and she had a seizure on her way to the hospital. So I pulled over and called 911. Wow, that's craziness. So we'll definitely be praying for Amber. Haven't seen you guys in a while either, by the way. Would love to see you, but I didn't know it was that serious. That's crazy. How's everything now? Give us an update. Swan says, thank you for asking about yeet. I'd like to know. Summer says, Southern slang, did you eat yet? Or did you eat? In Pittsburgh, it's jeet jet. Let's see here. Kevin says, maybe yeet is like yoink. I used to say yoink a lot when I'd take something. Meatloaf says, yeet is when you throw something or kick. But why? But I have seen that definition. But why is yeet also like this term of just excitement? Like yeet, Andrew's on live. Yeet. Like why is that? Why is that a thing? Or is that just an alternate definition? Let's see, Jordan. Jordan, I've never seen your name in the live stream before. Good to have you, man. How do you feel about the Giants? I am cool with the Giants. I'm still a little upset about when the Giants like crushed the Vikings in the NFC Championship. But that was probably 20 that was like 20 years ago, so I should probably get over it. Like it's probably time that I get over that. So but the Giants I'm pretty neutral on. Unless they're playing the Vikings, of course. Super impressed with Eli Manning over the years. I feel like he got a really bad rap. Obviously always living in Peyton's shadow, but two Super Bowls don't lie. And he had really what I feel like were very inferior teams the years they won the Super Bowl. So I don't know. I've just always been impressed with the Giants' way to kind of slog through the playoffs and those kinds of things. So got no problem with them. Plus their running back, what's his name from Penn State? That dude's Saquon Barkley. That dude's an animal. So I don't know. You got that going for you. Plus losing Odell Beckham was probably a good thing for your team. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I do have permission to show you the garden. Okay, so this is the garden hall. Here, let me show you. So that all came out of the community garden there. You got a bunch of tomatoes, peppers, and then all that okra. That's pretty sweet. So that's just, one person getting out of the garden. So pretty impressed with the community garden this year. It's not very big. I mean, we only did maybe I don't know, Kevin, maybe you could correct me, but maybe 15 by 25 is the garden area. So it's not very big, but people have been pulling all kind of produce out of there over the past, couple months, really. And it's still pumping, still going. So it's pretty awesome. Swan says summer went way faster than, yeah. Let's see. Jordan's new here. Welcome to the Nut House, Jordan, says Kevin. Todd says, I could care less about the NFL. I watch bits and pieces. I could take it or leave it, but I do think it's fun. It's fun to escape for a little while. It doesn't have this like hold over me like it used to. My Sundays used to be, before I met Jesus, my Sundays would be wake up at about 10 maybe with the hangover from the day before, immediately start drinking, and then watch football from 1 until about 11 and eat pizza and wings in between. So that used to be my Sunday life, and so God's brought me a long way since then. So it was probably good for me to take an 8-year break from football, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun to watch every now and again. And it's kind of a cool connection with old friends and family because I'm not around like my family in Minnesota, those kinds of things. So I at least get to have some kind of touchstone with them. We can bond over Viking football. Jordan says yeet is like yeah, an emphatic yeah, like maybe like a Lil Jon yeah. Some of you younger people don't even know who I'm talking about. Melissa says she was released today, but she had to get put on medication that's safe for the baby. So we have to go see the OB Wednesday and figure it all out. Okay. Well, we'll definitely keep Amber in prayer. Let us know if you need anything, Melissa, for sure. Kevin says, yeah, I'd say we only planted 35 to 40%. Hopefully we have a fence by next year, and it will be huge. Yeah, Kevin, some update on that. So I'll tell you like an update on the community garden. So we have a group of kids from the homeschooling co-op. The teenagers were looking for a service project. So Kevin, I'm going to have them build the raised beds. I was actually going to see if you'd be willing to help on Friday at 11. You could meet us at the community garden, just work for an hour or two, and you know, try to build the raised beds, and then I'm going to try to get. Well, I'm not going to try. I'm going to get all the wood and pallets for the rest of the garden project, so that we can begin to build the fence around the garden, and we can have the kids, be there and help us with all the labor and all the putting together of things. And we have a couple of the kids are actually artists as well, and so they were willing to hopefully make the community garden sign for us too. So we can make the community garden look really, really beautiful and prep it for next spring for a really, really awesome year. So super excited about that. Summer says church was great. It was really nice today. We had, like I said, it was a full house. We had probably, with the kids, I bet there was over 70 people there. I didn't get a hard count, but I think it was pretty close to 70 people. And 70 people in our little church is, and when people are passionately worshiping 70 people, it is like a party in there. It's loud, it's a little bit boisterous, but it's just people glorifying God. It's just so stinking fun. It's unlike any kind of church I had growing up. It's just a beautiful thing. Todd says, "How's the bees? I want to be a part of your honey harvest if I could." Yeah, no honey harvest yet, but I really do. I need to open up the beehives pretty soon and make that happen. Jordan Dow says, "What kind of vids do you make?" So Jordan, this channel is all about us trying to transform our city. And so our city is Kittanning, Pennsylvania. It's like a lot of small towns in America where it is a Rust Belt city that was left behind by the manufacturing industries. And so what we are trying to do is transform our city and make it like new again. So we have a lot of videos on this channel about removing blight in the city. We're entering into a season about battling the opioid addiction process and or the opioid addiction problem in our town. We're also trying to fill up downtown buildings with new businesses that have been buildings that have been abandoned for many years, to hopefully fill those up with new businesses. And we're also trying to partner with our local government to make them more effective and more efficient. I don't know if the government, like where you're at, is very overwhelmed, but in our small town, there are just way too many problems for the local government to handle, and so we're trying to help them navigate that whole process. So that's our 4 goals. It's part of a project we're calling Kittanning 300, and Kittanning 300 is by our 300th birthday, which is 8 years from now, that we are planning to be on one of the best small towns in America list. So we're going to come back from being a small town that everyone kind of abandoned and no one wanted to be a part of, to being a small town that is one of the best in the country. So that's kind of the brand of this channel, as we call it, Kittanning, greatest city in the world, and that's what we're all about. So hopefully, if you're interested in that story, you'll be able to watch it unfold over the next several years, but you can check out some of the past videos. Just check the ones with the highest views over the past month or so, and you'll be able to see what we're all about. But that's what this channel is. And Sunday night, we just do a live stream where we kind of goof off, and I try to get to know people better, and they can get to know me better. So if you have any questions about me, go ahead and shoot. Kevin says, "We should watch PennDOT instead of football. They are just as overpaid, but do slightly more work." That's great. Kevin, how could we make PennDOT fun? Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh, man, you guys are great. Melissa says she's not my child. Krista doesn't know what PennDOT is. Jordan's from a small Rust Belt town in New York, so I'm guessing you have a lot of the same problems there, Jordan. And so maybe we could start something in your town too. Maybe we could have a greatest city in the world in New York, and you could get some ideas from this channel, and you could share some ideas with us, and we could work on making both of our little Rust Belt towns better places to live. Let's see here. Todd says, how many white hats versus the other colors? I'm not sure what that means. Dustin says, hey, Pastor Andy, stopping in to say hello, watching the Pats whoop the Steelers. How about them Cowboys Super Bowl bound? I don't know about the Cowboys, man. I just don't know about them. And we have a Giants fan in the house, so I'm not allowed to show any love to the Cowboys. Got to show allegiance to the Giants and our main man from small town New York. Let's see. Brad says, can you think of any business that would help fix the addiction problem in town? Yeah, I mean the church that's they're trying to put a recovery center in there, but it's the general public is very, very against it. They've had some interesting meetings, but I'm seeing a lot of support from other people that are going to attend the next meeting, and so it's probably the most controversial topic in town right now. As far as other businesses though that would help the addiction problem, I'm not really sure. Honestly, I really think something like a coffee shop would help extraordinarily. Just anything that's going to create community. All the books that I've been reading lately on addiction, it's not actually as addictive as people think that it is. What the addiction is the trying to subside the pain from traumatic events in our lives. And so one of the best ways to cause that pain to subside is for people to actually have genuine community. And so I think the best thing that we can do as far as businesses to start or things to start are things it would be things that are going to build community. And I think coffee shops are one of the best places to do that. Excuse me. Oh, man, I hate that. So coffee shops, I think vibrant, growing churches that are passionately worshiping and passionately endeavoring to create community are very, very much part of the healing process. I'm not sure what other businesses, though. Maybe you guys have some ideas on things that would be like places that could create community that aren't bars, by the way, that aren't things that are going to add to the problem. Let's see here. Oh, man. Tyler's Minecraft channel. What is your stance on communism? Very against. Very against. I love communism actually in a sense where we make it a personal choice. If you look at like Acts chapter 2 in the Bible, it was kind of like a communistic, socialistic society, but the people chose to make it happen. Communism, when it's forced upon you, creates entitlement on the receiving side, and it creates resentment on the giving side, and it never works because of human nature. Because of the way we are, communism is always destined to blow up. So communism in practice for a governmental standpoint, I'm very, very against. As far as like a lifestyle, I think communism is, I think it's cool. If you want to share everything with everyone, I think you should go right ahead and do it. And I think it's biblical to do that, actually. Patriots just scored. They are now beating the Steelers 16-0. Okay, so Todd, it was a PennDOT joke. I get it now. Amanda's in the house. Good to have you, Amanda. It's been a while since we've had you on the live stream, but I'm glad you're here. It's awesome. I'm going to be calling you in the morning to set up a meeting. Melissa says, I'm assuming you're fighting with Krista because you're two alike. I think that's what you're saying. Big Dog Bro says, speaking of PennDOT, did you ever get a list of alleys the borough is going to pave? I did not. I talked to Betsy Wilt on it last week. I have not forgotten about you, Todd. So talked to Betsy Wilt, a city council woman, and she told me the contract is approved and signed. They are supposed to have that final list soon. She told me within the next couple weeks. I am actually scared they're going to run out of time. They have two big projects they were supposed to complete this year. One is the paving of the alleys. The second project is they got a big grant for the Wayland Park the park next to St. Mary's Church. And so they're supposed to be doing some work on that as well. But we are only like 6 weeks away from the first frost date in Kittanning. And at that point, they're going to shy away from paving and all those kinds of things. And so they really got to get on their horse if they're going to get that stuff done this year. And I would really, 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 really love to see it done this year. um, for your guys' sake and for everybody else's. We've had a lot of big wins this year, but I think for 2019, it'd be really nice if we could get a couple more big wins on the calendar or on the board, so that we can tell a great story about all the awesome things that have happened in 2019. I think we can tell a pretty good story already, but I'd love to see a couple more good ones. Dustin says, oh, sorry, you're talking to Kevin. I don't need to talk about that conversation. Let's see here. Oh man, you guys are crazy. Tim Wolf says, "Did the movie people leave some good-looking permanent cosmetic fixes to downtown?" They really didn't. They just put up signs, temporary signs, and then took them back down when they were done. So, not really anything permanent from the movie people whatsoever. The good thing about it is that when Mothman was here, I think the downtown Kittanning probably looked significantly better than it did at that point. We've had a lot of buildings be painted over the last few years, and hopefully we're going to see a few more be painted and ultimately filled. That's what we need, is businesses to be filled. So hopefully that'll happen. I just know if those buildings could be lived in, so to speak, that it would really, it would make all the difference in the world. Kevin says, the drug problem just never seems to get better or go away. I was in Walmart the other day, and the woman ahead of me in line was talking loudly, laughing continuously, and her eyes were all over. She had two small kids with her that she kept yelling at. Yeah, that's the heartbreaking thing, is the kids, for sure. And there are a lot of people that are kind of in that situation. So, yeah, just hard. But we're going to be focusing on that over the next few months. And I'm hoping, Kevin, we're going to have a data-driven plan to help the opioid addiction problem. And we're going to try to tackle that. Hopefully, if the church members will be on board, we're going to go after that as a church like we've never attempted before. And it's going to be a good thing. I'm believing that we're going to see some fruit. And I've really felt impressed by God that this is the time. This is the time where we're going to start to make that turn and make that shift, and this is the time we're going to make an impact. So, Amanda says the park money was held up due to compliance issues, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think I missed something in the story there, but she said they were talking to a contractor this week, so I don't know. Hopefully that's going to happen. Kevin says, I'm tired of the drugs. I find it harder and harder to remain sympathetic for addicts, especially when they hurt children or others by their choice. It's true, but at the same token, every single one of them, although they made the choice to go down that road, a lot of them did not make the choice to experience the trauma that they originally felt, and that kind of drove them to make that first choice to kind of try to cover up the pain. We have to just remember, like, nobody grows up and says, I want to be addicted to heroin. Like, that's just not a thing. It's pain, it's trauma that happened in people's lives that leads them to that place. And if you don't have that relationship with God, or you haven't met Jesus yet, those kinds of things, then it's very difficult for people to find their way out of it. How could you? I'd still be caught in it if it weren't for God. And so we do have to have compassion. Now, that's not to say that we can't also hold people accountable for their actions, because we definitely need to do that as well. But we still have to be sympathetic and have compassion all the time. I know you'll get it back, Kevin, once we start this process. I really believe that. You're one of the most compassionate people, sympathetic people that I know. And so God's wired you that way for a reason, and I think He's going to use it in a big way. Do you smoke? I do not smoke. Never did smoke anyway. Well, not to, I'm not even gonna go there. Summer says, "Why does this town not have a playground area for small children?" It does, as Wayland Park. It's actually, I mean, I think it's a really nice little park. My kids love going there. Anytime we drive by it, they just want to go back. We need another one though. Habitat's working on. Well, I'm not actually not even allowed to talk about that yet. So there's another park that they're talking about working on. That would be like a $400,000 park. It would be the park of all parks. It would be a park that would be a county-wide draw. It would be that great. And so if that happens over the next year, we're gonna have a meeting on that again, actually on Wednesday. So we'll be pushing for that. So we'll see if we have another park. Hopefully we'll have the old park will be revamped, and then hopefully we'll have a brand new awesome park on the other end of town. And so hopefully we'll have two soon. Kevin says we do have one, but lately there have been needles laying around the area. Yeah, I've heard that too. That is the one problem with that park, is it's kind of known as a drug activity place after dark. Summer says, "Have you seen the basketball courts? They need mowed." But yeah, they that's part of the process. I think is refinishing the tennis courts and refinishing the basketball courts and kind of making all that stuff look new again. So hopefully that'll happen. We have another person at church that's interested in doing a project down there. So hopefully there's a big apartment building there as well, and they don't really take care of the garages that are there. So we're going to hopefully talk to that apartment owner that owns those garages and see if they would allow us to kind of take out all the weeds that are from behind the garages, paint the back of those garages, and maybe I don't know if we could get a high school group to do it or something. But if we could commission an art group to like make a mural there, that would be like Wayland Park or something like that, and paint it along the back of the garages, that would actually totally change the look of that park too. Because part of it is like if you look around the park, there's just like this really shabby garage there that runs the whole length of one of the sides of the park. And so when you look at the playground equipment, you see this shabby thing behind it. And if we would just clean that up, it would make a huge difference. If the city would refinish the surfaces of the tennis courts and those other places, then we could make that park look totally different in a pretty short period of time. And so hopefully we'll be able to get those projects going, maybe even in the fall. We'll see. Let's see. Summer says, "I've been asked where a play area is several times. I haven't seen one." So yeah, if you go by that park, it's by there's the basketball courts in the front, and then right behind there you see the tennis courts, and then if you move over a little bit, there's a big play area for kids. My kids love it there. They like always ask me if we can go there. They always want to go for a walk in Kittanning, and then they want to go to the park as well. That's like the two things they always ask of me. Let's see here. Todd says the tennis court and basketball court was redone like 6 years ago. Is it really? Was it really that? Was it really redone, or did they just kind of like? Because it's all cracked everywhere, and there's weeds growing up everywhere, especially in the tennis court. The tennis courts are really bad, but nobody uses the tennis courts, so that's part of the problem. I don't know if they don't use it because they're bad, or if they're bad because nobody uses them. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of tough to sell the tennis courts as legitimate need because there's tennis courts in Community Park. There's brand new, beautiful tennis courts that can be used by the public at Armstrong High School, and then there's also tennis courts that are actively in use at the old football field at the high school as well. And so I don't know if there's really a need for tennis courts. There was some talk about making the tennis courts into like a deck hockey area, which if they did that, that would be like one of the biggest draws in Kittanning as well. So hopefully they'll do something like that and make it really nice. I just want to see the kids be able to use it. And I know the more that it does get used, the less of a drug hotspot it'll be because it's just like the law of activity. If you can fill that vacuum with activity, then it will chase the rest of the stuff out of there. But it might be a really great place for us to go and evangelize if it's a drug activity place. We can go and talk to people there, and we could, introduce them to a better way of life. And that's the direction I think we have to go instead of just saying, yeah, it's full of druggies or whatever. I think we have to look at the problems, and in every problem, we need to look for a solution and see if we can go down and do what we need to do there. Amanda says, I would really like to see the borough enforce curfews again. I believe it would help curb some of the issues of drug use in the park and bike thefts that we saw over the summer. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not against that at all. Even if they just did curfews in the summer months, if it was a 10 o'clock thing or something like that, I think that would make a huge difference. Even just the police driving around and just asking questions is a big difference. But yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, the security camera thing, Amanda, I think would definitely help. I was just telling somebody that today. I said, even if you just put up signs saying this area is under surveillance, I think that would clean up 80% of it. Even if you don't put up cameras, you just put up the signs. It's enough to deter people. Kevin says, when I was young, they gave non-claim bikes to anyone that needed them. Now they just say the chief does something with them. That's not good. Summer says, police are scared. That could be. I really don't know. It does seem like the drug houses that are like known drug houses, everyone in the neighborhood knows about it. The police have to know about it. How do they not like stake it out and take care of it? I just don't understand it. Let's see here. Maybe we can do it as a community. Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I totally agree with you. I think we need to be able to try to tackle these things as a community. I don't think we can sit around and wait for the city to do it. That's for sure. To a certain extent, I don't think we can sit around and wait for the police to take care of it. We just can't, because they either can or they won't, one or the other. And either way, it's not good. um, I think we can, over the next few months, you'll see some of the interviews that I'm going to try to get. I already have a couple of them confirmed, and so some of those interviews, I'll open it up for questions. So the week before I'm going to do the interview, I will open it up for you guys to ask questions to police chief or police department, county drug task force, those kinds of things. We'll get them on the podcast, and then I'll let you guys be able to ask your questions. And whatever you want to ask, I'm not afraid to ask it. So if it's a hard question, we'll go and get it, and we'll start to solve these problems together. That's my commitment to you. Is I'm going to do everything that I can over the next few months to bring light onto these situations for the community, and we'll begin to have these hard conversations that no one seems to be able to have. And if we can't, then I'll just name and shame people until they do. Let's see. Kevin says, with certain apps, you can turn any Android phone into, including the dollar store ones, into a remote camera. Well, that's pretty sweet. I've never heard of that before. Let's ask the neighbors if they'll allow us to hook one up on their porch or yard. It's only 5 volts of electricity. Wouldn't cost much. That would be awesome, too. Tim Wolf says, people come here from all over the country. The reality is it's a very controlled industry. They end up joining our homeless community. Yeah. To get into the pot business. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, Tim. There are a lot of people traveling to Colorado just simply because marijuana is legalized. I can't even imagine the population influx you guys have. It has to be huge. Todd says, get 2 crew to put up cameras. 2 crews right in town. A friend of mine works there in the office. She works with the owner daily. Yeah, you could totally ask them. I know the police department has been in the process. There are cameras throughout most of the downtown, and most of them were actually donated by 2 crew. The Kittanning Police Department has a pretty extensive security system from what I understand. Even along the trail, there are cameras in certain places now. So they are in the process. They've been adding to that over time. But the big question for me is, are they using the information they're gathering? Because it just doesn't. I don't see that happening, and we don't get crime statistics. That's the other problem. There should be public crime statistics so we can tell how many arrests were made for drugs, how many DUIs, how many, like, what is actually going on, what are they accomplishing? Because they could be doing tons of stuff and we're just not hearing about it. But they need to publish those statistics. And I don't need names of who they arrested or whatever. I just want to see what they're doing because I don't ever hear about it. And I know a lot of those guys. They seem like good guys. They seem like hard workers. They seem like they want what's best for the community. I just think the more that we avoid those conversations, the longer that we'll think that the police aren't doing their job, and they'll think that the city doesn't care about what they're doing, or that nobody's behind them, or everyone's just against the police. And I don't think either of those things are true. I just think we need to start having the conversation and make sure that we can get everybody's voices heard. Because my guess is they maybe just don't know about some of the problems, and yeah, I don't know. Because I don't know if we talk to them because we think they won't do anything with it anyway. I think just breakdown in communication hurts everybody, and the sooner we can start those conversations, the better. Kevin says, I set one of those cameras up for Judy. She always checks her cameras at church, and the sound interrupts the sermon. Judy's always interrupting the sermon. Let's be honest about it. That's so funny, though. Let's see. Kevin says, I seen people trading on the rail. I'm assuming that means rails to trails near the hot spot just 2 days ago. Yeah, it's sad. Amanda says, how is it legal that those statistics aren't available? I don't know if they're not. I don't know if it is that they're not available, Amanda. I just never. I don't see them published anywhere, and so I don't know. I just want to see them published. Like that should be part of the police station's job. Like put it in the newspaper every month. These are the 10 major crimes that we're tracking, and these are where they are this year. These are where they were 1 year ago, and this is where they were 5 years ago. Like there should be standard metrics that are published often, so we can tell the direction that we're moving. We need to be able to measure these things. Big white house on Maple. Yeah, Maple Street's a rough street. So that area is so interesting because you have two streets down. You have oh gosh, Maple Street is like one of the worst streets in Kittanning as far as blight and as far as drug activity, from my understanding. And then two streets down, you have like literally the best street in Kittanning. And so it's crazy. I don't. It's like the blight issue is a huge thing. Like if we can help those houses to turn around, it makes a really big difference. Summer says you would think they would have a drug task force in here raiding houses to take care of the problem. Yeah, and then I heard just the other day. I don't know if this is just a rumor or not, but they someone told me the drug task force is actually suspended right now because of the money that came up missing after that last court case debacle that happened. So we don't have an active drug task force right now. I don't know if that's actually true. I need to confirm that, but that's the rumor that I heard. So until that investigation is completed, we won't even have a drug task force in the county, which is crazy to me. Tim says, I like the coffee shop idea, downtown or towards West Kittanning area. Got me thinking, just trying to find a way to get back there. Coffee shop, definitely downtown, not in West Kittanning. It needs to be walkable from downtown. That's my 2 cents. West Kittanning actually they have the Apothecary coffee shop, which is a coffee shop inside. I believe it's the Highlands Pharmacy. I've heard it's very good. Still have never been there. I need to go. Kevin says, I want to see stronger laws for possession and drug use. The laws never work, though, Kevin. They never work. Like, you go across the country, it doesn't make a difference. The only places that seem to be making a difference are the ones that actually fully legalize and they create a system of compassion for people. And I think that's the spot. I think that's the place of the church. I think that's what we have to do. Filling up the jail isn't going to fix it because they just come out again, and then the problem's just worse. That's my 2 cents anyway. I got a book I need to lend you, Kevin. Not that you don't have enough to read. Amanda says, have you ever received the final budget from last year from the borough? Yes, I did. I published it on Facebook as well. So if you're interested in it, you can go back and search through the greatest city in the world Facebook page, and you would find it. I believe you'd find it in the January or the February range. So you'd have to scroll back quite a ways, but you'll find it. Actually, if you just look in the photos on that page, you'll probably find it faster because I don't post that many photos in there. So it would be in the photos. Okay. Kevin's ready to volunteer for the drug task force. That's good. All right. Kevin, I'd be interested to see the video you're talking about. Send me a link. I want to watch it. I think I'm done, you guys. We're 46 minutes in. That's definitely pretty long enough. The Steelers are very, very much behind. So there's that. The Browns lost big today. I can't believe that happened. But anyways, I love you all very much. I'm looking forward to continue this conversation over the next several months. Definitely, do your own research on the drug thing. Come up with your own, come up with some ideas, and then come back and let's talk about them next Sunday night. I would be really, really interested if you send me links on the Kittanning Greatest City in the World Facebook page, or send me a link on Instagram or on Facebook Messenger or on Twitter. I'm totally open to reading anything. I want to take in as much information as possible so I can put it all in these videos. I want to just get as much information out to you guys as I can, and then we'll continue to have these conversations. We're going to figure this thing out. We're going to figure it out not only for our city, not only for our families and friends, those kinds of things, but we're going to figure this out because God's glory demands it. If we're going to turn around this city, we have to be consistently seeking to bring people into the kingdom of God. And part of that is going to be breaking these generational strongholds, healing these traumas in Jesus' name. And so I just really believe that with all my heart. We're going to figure this thing out, you guys. We're going to do it together, and we're going to do it for the glory of God. Hope you all have a wonderful night. I love you all dearly. I cannot say how much I appreciate these conversations with you on Sunday nights. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I hope to see you next Sunday at 9 o'clock. See you then.